What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Sports Card Madness brought to you by DraftKings Pick 6. Use code MADNESS for a free $50 play if you spend $5. I'm not here with LZ today. It's a different kind of day. I'm here with Jared, and we are going to get into whatnot a little bit. Jared was huge. He was even bigger than Backyard in the early days of whatnot. And some crazy stuff happened to him that I think is important to air within the context of everything that has happened with Backyard Breaks over the past few weeks. And he's got some kind of inside ball that he wants to share. So I'm going to give him a platform to share that because I think people should know more about what has happened in the history of this platform. They should know more about what specifically happened to Jared. And Jared's willing to have a dialogue with anybody else that wants to find out. But it's important to air this stuff so we don't just kind of pretend everything is fine. So Jared's cool, actually a pretty cool guy. We're not going to do it now, but he gave me a really sick tour of his studio and just all kinds of cool stuff he's got lying around. And he's an artist, he's a podcaster and everything. So what's up, Jared, man? Welcome to the show.
What's going on? Thank you for having me, first of all.
You got it.
Appreciate it.
We all know about the backyard thing that happened with Grant, and a lot of people were upset that they wouldn't share the investigation details or a status update or really update of any kind. And you had reached out to me in a DM and said, like, all right, hey, Nick, I've got some crazy stuff that happened to me as a massive seller in the beginning, and you felt like you were unfairly treated. So what I want to do is walk the audience through what happened to you because I found it very interesting. We'll just kind of start at the beginning. So again, what were you doing on Whatnot? How big were you? What was the timeline? What year was this? Like what happened?
So I mean, I was fairly large. It was year one of Whatnot, towards the end of year one for them.
Mm-hmm.
And I appeared on the scene. I was really the first breaker to offer his own repack, which I had done third party, but I thought that would be my way to differentiate myself, not having a distribution deal, getting into it. And that really took off right away, to the extent of, I would say, from the timeline to May of when my first real situation happened, and we'll go into that further.
Yep.
I had already done about 650,000.
Whew. All right. So that's over how many months?
About 5.
All right, cool. So you've got $1 million plus business here, whatever, 1.3,
100%.
whatever, what do you want to call it? All right. So you started in year one. You decided to do repacks. You didn't have to worry about allocation and distribution. You're probably one of the first people ever to do this, which is very interesting. I think we'll talk about that in a little bit too. To the tune of $1.3 million run rate. That's what you built this up to. So everything's going great. How long did things keep going great?
Everything was really going smooth. This was like in late December. I started right before Christmas. And I mean, I was so successful that by January, the first week of January, I was already moving locations from my balcony, which people enjoyed because I live on water in Miami and they see the sun.
You were upgrading and kind of investing back in your company.
To the place that I'm in now with the square footage. And the first hiccup came in February, which ironically came right after I blasted Grant for stealing the Trevor Lawrence or duping the public and fooling about why they're going to give it away for tax purposes.
Let's pause there for a second because I guarantee you 97% of the audience has no idea what you're talking about right now. I do. Were you the person who blasted this out for the first time, or was somebody else bringing it to your attention, this Trevor Lawrence thing?
It was brought to the attention. I don't remember who blasted it to the social media first, but I was the streamer that decided to go live that day with a video of them taking the card as my preview video and drawing in a massive audience to which I didn't want to sell anything that day.
Got it. So you
talk about Whatnot.
You made the decision to poke the bear. All right. So you saw this Trevor Lawrence situation. Everybody already knew about it. You decided to poke the bear. For the audience, what happened was they sold a spot, whatever. It wasn't a giveaway. And was it a giveaway or a spot break? That I can't remember.
It was a giveaway.
Got it. Giveaway
portion, but
right. And now somebody got it, and then as soon as they got to that card, at the time it was a 5-figure card plus. And the guy on camera with the half shirt's like, sorry guys, we can't give that away. We can't give that away. I have footage of this
Yeah,
on my Instagram. You can Google this, honestly. Just Google Backyard Breaks Trevor Lawrence, and you can see videos of this.
it was
It was
terrible.
quite live, quite public. And eventually they ended up making it right, but they had to be dragged through the mud to do that. And so you were dragging them through the mud. All right. So $1.3
Yeah,
million business. Everything's going great. Trevor Lawrence thing went down. You spoke up. What happened next?
I spoke up. At the time, I had a Whatnot representative. His name was Mitch,
Okay.
and he even called me that day and said, "Jared, I want to tell you, like, thanks for doing that. Everyone at Whatnot's talking about it. It's great. We're going to be at the convention soon. You got to come in March to Vegas and meet everybody." I said, "Okay, great, everything." About 2, 3 weeks later, we get our first flag infraction,
Okay.
and we get our pay suspended, which
This is
is
2 weeks
automatic
after the Trevor
payouts.
Lawrence thing.
2 weeks, two
Okay.
weeks.
What did you get flagged
So
for?
the flag was for shill bidding, such
Okay.
a such almost a backyard thing. But shill bidding, for those that don't know, is obviously when you have like a gatekeeper in the room who's just trying to up all the auctions for the public when it's someone in your own real company or something, and you're not gonna even have them
Yeah.
pay.
So for the
That's
audience,
not what
shill bidding
happened.
can happen on eBay. Shill bidding can happen anywhere.
Yeah, literally everywhere.
For a live break, a way you could shill break is you could have somebody on a phone in the other room just jacking up the price on things, and it's you know tough to spot or whatever. So you were dinged for shill bidding. Did they have you on video? Did they have evidence for this?
Well, the reality was there was definitely video of me bidding because here's what happened. We couldn't sell the last spot in the break. And
Mhm.
back then, still everything was really new in the infancy and how you were going to do giveaways, whatnot, what didn't even have their full button set up for people who have bought in. So
Yep.
what I did was I had my own personal account, Coffee and Chronic. So I took my phone onto the camera side so everyone saw it. I bought it. I go, all right, guys, I bought it. Now I'm going
Huh.
to give it away.
So you
And I
very
gave it away.
publicly shill bid and gave it away, and it was
I
all
gave it
on
away.
video. Okay, so it's not like you were secretly under the table bidding. You like showed
Nope.
both phones
Yeah,
on camera, and then you ultimately gave away the thing that you shill bid on. Okay.
correct.
All right,
So
and
what
you
I
got a ding for
learned
that.
from
It probably did violate their policy and probably was a technicality. So you got your first flag for
yeah,
that.
technicality. And so what I learned from that moment was how catastrophic losing your automatic payouts becomes when you are trying to keep inventory,
Is that what
right?
happens
And obviously,
with one flag? With one flag, they
no,
stop automatic payouts.
it should happen off of 3 flags.
Okay,
But
but
they
right
did
now
this.
we're at one flag. So you got the one flag for shill bidding. What happened next?
The next situation comes in May, um, right around Memorial Day. I had done a show where I had my aha moment because I'm like, I need something other than repack, even though I was buying, retail and trying to still sell. I'm not going to make my money there. So I came up with what I called the greatest game on Whatnot. What I
Okay.
had developed was we were all using duck races as our randomizer in everything we do in every channel you go to, including Roto Radar doing his big 247 card hit drafts with
Now we
duck
do wheel
races.
spins, we do card reveals,
Right.
whatever.
So
Yep.
I thought about another vision, which I then did. And it was that day I was so successful. My aha moment made me feel like I really was going to get to the next level. But no, I got a flag for gambling. Here's what I did.
Huh.
I sold duck races as an auction, but only the whole duck race is one auction. So if you and I bid on it, Nick, and
Yep.
you won the entire duck race. Each duck had a numerical value of comp cards, and then you had your choice of it. Everybody loved it. It was a great game. But nope, I got hit with the gambling
Were other people
flag.
doing this exact format and did they get dinged?
No, and so nobody had developed this format of auctioning an entire race to one person. I
Interesting.
thought it was kind of really revolutionary because it's really not gambling in the essence that this guy is definitely going to win the card of value, right? Like that's like us opening a pack. You're still
Yeah, but
getting the value, you're still getting
unfortunately,
cards.
that's a game of chance and
Technicality.
they got to be careful. So I mean, yeah, we keep saying
So
technicality, but these are their rules. So, that one I kind of agree with. That does feel like
okay,
gambling.
fair
Um,
enough.
all
Fair
right.
enough. But
All right, now
but
you got
is
two
it
flags.
yeah, yeah. No, well, here's the thing. On that flag, I got suspended.
Okay, how long were you suspended for?
I was suspended for a week,
All
and
right.
my automatic payouts were once again taken for a month.
Okay. So automatic payouts
However,
get taken with each flag.
It's not supposed to be that way.
Okay. All right. But they were for you. Got it.
Yes.
All right. So we're
And
on
you,
flag two. Your automatic payouts were stopped for a week.
right. But let me ask you something. Is it a game of chance? Like, let's say Roto Radar, right? And his hit drafts. If you're rolling dice, right?
Yes.
For
Game of
more.
chance.
So my point is,
The whole
I
thing.
wasn't really
I have very passionate views about this whole goddamn
right.
carnival
I
game
may
space,
listen.
but I'm
I may
trying to
have
keep a
been.
straight face.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying. I may have been involved in what would be against TOS, but no different than every breaker was doing.
All right. So
So
everybody was doing this shit, and
I was
you,
taught. My
yeah,
point is, mine feels
you
targeted.
felt targeted.
And here's the real whammy, because that is the one that became the whammy for the rest of
All right. Let's hear the
the
whammy.
entire team.
Let's hear the whammy.
So upon being reinstated, I had
Uh-huh.
written them. Am I reinstated? I didn't get anything. All of a sudden, I got an email with a welcome orientation packet. I'm like, why am I getting this? At this point, I've been selling for over 5 months. I have over 650,000 in sales, like probably almost 10,000 followers. Why am I getting this?
Oh, so
So I
you
didn't
had
think
at that
about it.
point in time, yeah, you got 1.3 run rate, you've got 10,000 followers, and like a decent following everywhere, right? Okay. And so now you
Mhm.
get hit with something that says, "Hello, new seller." Okay. So
Yes,
just for the
I think it's
audience,
the
I want to make sure there's no BS here. I don't want to share this paperwork just because of doxing laws and stuff like that in private conversations, but just know that I have viewed them. I I have seen them all. He is absolutely telling the truth. I've seen all the timeline on all the paperwork he's referencing. I've seen the one that says, "Congrats, you're a new seller." I'm just walking him through the timeline, but this is all legit. I've seen it myself.
yep.
He has it actually right there, but I will not let him share it on screen. He at the end, I will share his information so you can reach out to him if you want him to share it with you. That's his prerogative. So, all right, all right. So
And
continue. Now
thank you. I
you got hit
appreciate
with
that.
a
And
new account
yes,
thing.
so I got the orientation packet. And then I didn't think about it. I'm so excited to get back on the air, right? And start
Yeah.
selling. So I go set up my show. I go turn on my show and it goes, boom, welcome to your first show. Your
All right. So you
first
got
show.
0 followers. You wiped out. The algorithm hates you. Did you reach
My
out and?
following is there. The
Oh,
layout looks right. The skin is there, right? Now, what do you think I did? Called my rep. My
yeah.
rep
What did he
to
say?
this day, from that day, never took my call.
All right. So you were completely
Never took
ghosted.
my call.
You never were able to get in touch with
Ghosted.
customer support or tech support or anything like that. You were
And
somehow reset, but your followers were there.
the
Strange.
layout looks right. The shadow bands are real, right?
Did you feel like you didn't
My
rank as
girlfriend,
well as you did?
I
Like,
never ranked again until
uh,
they introduced pay for play, right? Pay for the carousel spot atop, right? That's once they introduced being able to pay to get up the carousel, they lend credibility to my belief that this was all done to me, targeted in the back end of their company, right? Because you can obviously, if you're a tech junkie, and I'm not, but I'm smart enough to understand a little tech, you can have a layout that looks one way. That doesn't mean the back end of it is working correctly to
yep.
make you
I got
as
it.
popular as you were. You could be shadow banned, you could be put down. And a lot of my followers were people who were so loyal to me, they were always looking for my show, so they'd come, right? Like let's
Yep.
say that's like a 30 or 40 pack people. And everyone else that I saw for all the times that I'd seen everyone
Couldn't
in the
get him
industry by then.
anymore.
They're like,
Interesting.
yeah, they'd be like, John, I could barely find you, or I just appear. As
What
soon as
bothers me about this is that regardless, we could say you were shadow banned and it's like, us versus them or whatever, but you actually reached out and to this day have not gotten an explanation on why you were reset to your first show. So that bothers me. And now I imagine Backyard was starting to rip at that time, even
they were
you know,
I thought then they became uncatchable, right? Like I had this kind of like vibe going that could have been that other type of feeling.
yeah,
And
you got wiped.
they became uncatchable at that point and they became monster. And I looked what I looked at that point was I looked at who was helping the best of the best, who were their reps. I want the same reps. I want the best of the best. I feel like I'm the best of the best, but no matter what, I need representation of whatnot because this story that we're telling today, if there's anything that I want everyone to take away from it, and if there's anyone at whatnot that watches this and actually thinks about it, it's that the technology, even if I'm wrong and it's not wrongdoing by a bad person there, right? The technology to not being able to communicate with your sellers when they're making you money, other than to go through email, is such a faulty process.
Yeah.
And
All right, so the
in the
customer
timeline,
service for a big seller was pretty lacking, but Backyard seems like they
right.
were fine.
So I looked at Poleax. I looked at Backyard. I'm like, who's the guy? It's Binder. He's in their rooms. He's talking in their chats. They're talking with him. Hey, Binder, whatever. Binder's got to be their rep. So I decide I want Binder to be my rep, or at
Uh-huh.
least I want Binder to
You want a
hear.
good rep. You don't want a ghost. You've been completely ghosted and completely reset. So you want
Right.
like a
Or at the
human to
very
talk to.
least, I don't need him, but he's the guy I need to tell so he could get me a rep.
Yeah, yeah, I got you.
So that begins my attempt to open up a line of communication with Binder. And
Uh-huh.
he was not very receptive to a line of communication. He was more like, hey, Jared, no, sorry.
All right, very cold.
Okay. Then I come back, hey, I say, hey, I feel like the redheaded stepchild. No, we have so much going on here that we're just over inundated. Well, things are falling through the cracks, and I feel like my algorithm was reset. This is a serious topic. Like if
Yeah.
I was working at Whatnot and a seller told me that, that first thing I would do is immediately go to our back end and try to figure out, did something happen to our sellers? Or if it's not intentional and it's a technical error, when we suspend sellers, does it accidentally reset their algorithm? Why would we want to do that to a seller? Why are you going to punish us even further?
Yeah, it's all
Right?
hearsay too.
So,
I mean, the moral of the story is you just couldn't get in touch with anybody. All right, so this guy kind of gave you like a cold shoulder. What'd you do next? Were you done then? You just give up?
so no, I mean, I just kept grinding, working the late hours, trying to keep my company relevant.
Yep.
They introduced being able to pay for the carousel, that be able to sped me up back to getting a little bit of traction because I didn't mind paying for a little play because I'm willing to grind long hours and I'll make up the money in the grind. I enjoyed doing my show for people.
Yeah.
So I continued, but I always was working tireless hours through the night,
Yep.
never to really
So you
come
kept
out
trying to
really
just grind and like eke it out and do better with
just
the algorithm. And
keep it
then,
going. Yeah, and it couldn't be the company that it was going to be. It's not going to be $1 million company anymore. Um, to the extent that when 18 months of my Whatnot were done, and you've seen the paper, I think it was like 1.2 million at the end. 18
yeah,
months, not 12, or
yeah.
maybe even longer. So I every time I found myself getting a little bit of speed, I would get a hit from Whatnot. Now they didn't start flagging me. Now they started fake flagging me for shipping delays, right? And why I say fake flagging is because they didn't say you're suspended or this flag. They go, we're raising your fees by 1%. So we're taking more from you, right? So that was in ironic. What's the chances of another May, right? That becomes May of 23.
All right. So they're
So
hitting you
I
with paper
say,
cuts. They're just paper cutting you to death with
yeah.
like shipping
So
fees and stuff like that.
at that point, it was almost like the bad guys were going to win. I was tired out. I was drained. I wasn't having fun going on anymore. And I'm like, you're going to hit me with another one? No problem. I'm just not going to stream for a month. What's the difference, right? So I don't stream for a month.
Uh-huh.
I come back. My shipping delay stays 7 days. From August to the end of September, my shipping delays button goes down to 3 or 2, right?
Mhm.
Only getting less. And my numbers are going up because I that month energy gave me the energy to pay for play, put myself in position,
Mhm.
and keep going, right? Bang! I get a suspension letter for
Okay.
shipping delays.
Okay.
So the suspension letter is what the story. This model of the story is right. The payout, the automatic payouts. So I didn't care if you were going to tax me with 1%. I'm just going to keep grinding. You've tired me out. But the minute you're going to ruin me again with automatic payouts being taken, because there's also no way to track your shipping really well that way, I'm like, yo, I got to fight back.
Yeah.
So I took to my Instagram, my Bikini Wax Instagram, and I started putting up the framework of what I felt was a targeted improper handling of me by the inside of the company. And while I did that, I wrote a letter, which I've shared with you as an appeal letter
Yep.
to how unfair this is, and there's no shipping delays, and I got down for 7-3. So they didn't answer for a day. So then I sent them another letter because when you're serving a suspension in any sport and you appeal it, you play under appeal and then you get suspended. Here, if you're suspended, you're losing income every day and you're appealing. I can't get those days back. So if
Yeah.
I'm right, shouldn't the appeal happen first? So after writing that letter, And at this point on my Instagram, I've tagged Whatnot. I've tagged Grant LaFontaine, the owners. I've tagged Binder in it. I've let them know like I'm gonna hold you guys accountable for this.
Yep.
And I get a letter from Whatnot telling me after their investigation, it turns out that my local post office wasn't checking in the packages. I don't know how they could figure that out a month later, how they know which local post office to talk to, but they unsuspended me. So in, my daddy passed away, but he wanted me, and he was a big car guy. And there's a part of this last part of the story that I'm gonna tell you that I don't know if I told you it involves him, but he wanted me very much to just say thank you.
Yep.
But I didn't feel that's how he raised me because I felt I'm so tired and drained of fighting
Yeah.
ghosts. Look, now you're saying there was no problem. You for 3 days I haven't been able to I've lost money in wage, and now I'm stressed out about trying to explain myself to a computer because I can't talk to anyone on a phone,
Yeah.
right?
This whole thing just went awry. I mean, there's some like
Yeah,
I just want to recap this because we're coming up on time and stuff. But like it's you were in the early days of an industry, and in the early days of an industry, it's just chaos. Like they don't even have good customer service. They don't even have controls. They have no ability to manage things properly, and they do place bets. I don't care what anybody says. They look around and they say that one's making me money, that one's not, that one's pissing me off. I don't like this or that or the other thing, and they make a bet, and then they support the company around that bet. This happens with any industry and any new company, and so
agreed.
you did something on camera that whatever, it's like a technicality, it pissed them off. That shield bidding thing is pretty messed up because it's like that's silly.
Giveaway.
But their lawyer, some
Anyway, by
lawyer,
the way, it's silly because they're making money off of my sale to
yeah, but
myself.
you know what?
They're getting paid on it.
Some lawyer somewhere said not can't do that even on camera, and it broke something. And the biggest problem I have with this, like whatever, even if that was gambling with the duck race, which it probably was, and then even if that is technically shield bidding, is the lack of response that you got. That bothers me across the whole thing. Okay, like the lack of responsiveness. But all right, let's chalk that up to them being the young company, not having their shit together. Fine. But I think one of the bigger issues about this entire thing is that weird little, I don't know, glitch in the matrix where you got this new show, you had this established show forever, and they're like, welcome to your first show, and you're telling me anecdotally that you didn't rank as high anymore, and then Backyard took off. That feels weird to me. I don't know if
And that I tried
yeah.
consistently to get an answer from people there about it.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. This entire time, you haven't been having good communication. And to be honest, the way they've handled this Backyard thing, I'm not surprised. It seems like now it's an organizational DNA type of thing. Like they are just non-communicators and it's from the top down. That's fine. Some companies do that, but they rarely, people get really pissed off with these types of companies. Amazon has chosen that strategy. You can't really talk to a human, and people can't stand returning their Amazon crap, but they got no choice because Amazon's Amazon. And there's other companies that have done this before and screwed up their customer service. It'll end the company. But these guys are taking that path. That's fine. That weird little shadow ban thing is strange. I would love to know. I'm going to put this out to the audience. Any other Whatnot sellers, YouTube or Spotify or Apple, wherever you're listening to this or watching this, like, let me know if you have ever had this glitch on Whatnot. Maybe you got a red flag, just like Jared, and you had a decent following, call it 1,000 or 5,000, whatever that number is. Let me know if you also got a welcome to your first show after a ban or suspension or something like that. Let me know if that's happened to you. And especially let me know if you feel like your rankings changed after that. Because if I start hearing this from 5+ people, then we've got a trend, and that starts to concern me. And maybe we can bring that to Whatnot and say, hey, what happened with all of these guys? Over the years, this
Yeah.
feels pretty bad to me. And I would like some answers. That's all. I'm a consumer of Whatnot. I buy vinyl on there. I haven't since Backyard. But I want to know, like I just want to know this fair play here. We all have rules. Like Reddit has rules and YouTube has rules, and I want to know what Whatnot's rules are. Maybe there is a shadow ban pact in that huge agreement. You click agree to or something like that. But I feel like we need to I don't know, just explore it a little more. So I'm gonna I'm gonna let you say
I just wanted
one
to
some
add
more.
because
Yep.
I just wanted to add, and I won't take more than like 2 minutes. This is the ending for everybody, right? So I got the same day
Yeah.
that I got.
Where are we now? Yeah.
The same day that I was unsuspended, I my dad wanted me to write thank you, and I wrote, I would like you guys to look into my May of 21's um, possible resetting of my algorithm. And I'd like you to look at your employee, Eric Binder, who refuses to communicate with me. And here's the photos of it. And here's me attempting it. And because maybe I mentioned his name in this email, right?
Yep.
Um, or maybe because sometimes when people do things wrong in companies and they got power and leverage, that's what happens. I'm not going to say which way it
All
is,
right.
but ultimately, I got an email back the same day I was banned.
Okay.
That's so the same day I got unsuspended,
Yeah, they
I
were
got
ready to
banned
rock. I mean,
for
personally, you want to know what
asking
I?
about. And the last thing I'm going to tell you is when my father passed in April, I
Yep.
decided to go onto his channel and sell his collection,
Yep.
right? And immediately he had 600 followers. Within 4 shows, I was doing 20,000. He had 3,000 followers. And on the last show, they banned it. And they didn't respond to why. And then then they sent me a picture that said, I didn't share this one with you. Oh, sorry if you didn't get the due to technical difficulties. Sorry if you didn't get this email. This channel is banned for circumvention
All right. I'm going to tell
circumvention
you what.
of
I'm going to tell
me.
you what happened here. I'm going to land this plane. Um, most likely, most likely, somebody internally didn't like your style, vibe, behavior,
Correct.
language, whatever it may be. They just didn't like you. I don't like a lot. I don't like most people. Um,
But
so
you like me, so there we go.
yeah, you're cool. You're cool. We're cool. But I think what happened is, you feel it feels like you were targeted. It feels like you were slowed down to a shutdown with a very little, communication, and it feels like it was, if that rep was ghosting you too, then obviously it had to be above him. And shadow bans happen on the CTO side of things, so it had to be over if the organization's a matrix organization, happened above that. So it feels weird. I mean, yeah, I guess you made some mistakes, but it's strange. It was the early days. They should have been a little more forgiving, I think. And
Yeah.
it's
And you're
sad
right.
because
Listen, we all make mistakes in life. I just don't think my mistakes deserve a ban, a lifetime ban from Whatnot, a ban from. And by the way, it's not just Whatnot because I've never told you this. I was about to work for George Masvidal on Fanatics. He wanted to hire me as his lead,
uh-huh.
Fanatics representatives told verbatim to George's company, we've done some due diligence on Jared, and we don't think it's a good hire. He was their only answer was because he was banned on Whatnot. So imagine I actually can't get on Fanatics because of the situation on Whatnot.
Yeah, I mean
I
that's
would have never guessed that.
I mean, I don't want to sound like a tinfoil guy or anything like that, but trust your senses, and there's probably something going on, and you have all the
Of course.
documentation. So I don't know. Hopefully, this opens people's eyes. Jared, what's the best way for somebody to reach out to you if they have questions about this, or maybe they don't believe you and they want to see all these documents or
Yeah,
something?
absolutely. My Instagram at Coffee and Chronic, and or you can also reach me at TikTok, same name,
Okay,
or
cool.
check out What's Your Wager, also on Instagram. That's my podcast, and I can answer you there. Any of the three, really. Just send me a DM. I'm more than happy to get on text with anyone or talk. Really, I
Yeah.
would love a lawyer to take interest in this and give me a call.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe one will. We have a couple in our space. I just wanted you to have a platform to at least share this. This is a warning to people. I always warn entrepreneurs because I've been one and I've invested in them. One of the biggest things is when you have all your eggs in one basket. So, like, let's say you're a consulting company and Pfizer is 90% of your projects, or you own whatever, a marketing company, a marketing agency, and Target is 80% of your revenue. That's bad, bad, bad. And so when you're on Whatnot, you have to understand that Whatnot is 100% of your life, and you are signing up for that almost like a franchisee, like you're opening up a Taco Bell. It's the same freaking thing with less controls, and the industry's newer, and it's dangerous. I would not buy a house based on this income. I would not buy an expensive car based on this income. I would treat this income like you're going to lose it tomorrow if you're an entrepreneur and whatnot. That's
That's
just my personal opinion. Just if you have a run rate, do not assume that and make purchases assuming that run rate. Play it smart. The only money you have from this is the money you've already made. So that's my final warning.
good advice. Good
All
advice,
right,
Nick.
cool, Jared. Thank you, man. Hopefully this helps everybody. Appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Thank you. And Shout out to the sports card industry. Hobby, stay up.
You got it.